All right, welcome everyone. We're here to break down the crucial new 2025 Lancet Commission report on adolescent health. And for all of my colleagues at the IIAH, SPAJ, IPA, and SAM, really for anyone who is dedicated to the future of our young people, this report is a serious wake-up call. So let's dive right in.
You know, the Commission kicks things off with this incredibly powerful African proverb, and it just perfectly frames our entire conversation, doesn't it? It's a stark reminder that the stakes couldn't be higher. Because when we fail to support our adolescents, it's not just some missed opportunity. It's a massive risk with real consequences for all of us.
So why this urgent new commission now? Well, back in 2016, a report laid out this really hopeful path, this idea of a triple dividend we'd get from investing in adolescent health. But the thing is, that promise, it's been largely unfulfilled. Progress hasn't just slowed down. In some really critical areas, we're actually going backward.
Okay, first things first. Let's get on the same page about a key term. When this report talks about adolescence, they mean a pretty broad age range, 10 to 24 years old. And that's really important because it reflects our modern understanding of brain development and all the social changes happening in that period. Just keep that definition in your head because it's key to making sense of the data we're about to look at.
Now, this slide right here tells a pretty sobering story. Just look at the numbers. On the left, you've got the targets we set back in 2016. On the right, where we're actually headed for 2030. Secondary education, we're going to miss that 80% goal by a long shot. Anemia in young women, the target was under 10%, but we're projecting over 32%. And obesity, the goal was 20%, we're on track for almost 24%. We are literally moving in the wrong direction. And let's just pull out one of those stats to really let it sink in. 1/3. By 2030, in huge regions of the world, 1 in every 3 adolescents is on track to be overweight. Now that's not just a statistic, right? That is a tidal wave of future health problems that our systems are just not ready to handle.
So you have to ask, right? Why? Why are we failing so badly? Well, the Commission argues it's because the world itself has become a fundamentally different and frankly more hostile place for adolescents.
And the report has a name for these challenges, the new determinants of health. And we're not talking about small shifts here. These are mega trends, huge, powerful forces that are completely reshaping what it means to be a teenager today. Our old ways of thinking just didn't account for this perfect storm of climate anxiety, social media pressure, conflict, and crushing inequality all hitting at once.
Let's just take climate change. Think of it like an attack on 2 fronts. First, there's the direct psychological hit. The evidence is clear. Eco-anxiety is a real and growing problem. But it's also a threat multiplier, right? It fuels the conflicts, the displacement, and the food shortages that throw young lives into chaos.
And then you have the digital world. I mean, it's incredible for connection, for learning, but it also opens up a whole new world of harm. The report flags something really important here, a key window of vulnerability around ages 12 to 13, where young people seem to be way more sensitive to the effects of social media. That's a huge insight for all of us, whether we're policymakers or parents. So here's the kicker. While all these massive new threats are exploding, our investment has been almost non-existent. Get this, between 2016 and 2021, adolescents got just 2.4% of all development aid for health. That's it. There is a complete and dangerous disconnect between the scale of the challenges and our global response.
But, and this is a really big but, this report is not a story of despair. This is where the whole narrative pivots. It argues that we've been ignoring the most powerful asset we have in this fight, adolescents themselves. This isn't a story about victims. It's about powerful agents of change.
The Commission poses this exact question. Are young people just sitting back, passively taking all these hits? And the evidence they found? Well, it screams a definitive no. In fact, they're on the front lines, and they are already creating the solutions.
And you can see their impact everywhere. We're talking about everything from AfriPads in Uganda, which is tackling period poverty, to the Tipping Point Initiative fighting child marriage, all the way to the global climate strikes that completely changed the international conversation. Young people are already leading the way.
Okay, so for us as professionals, the big question is, how do we actually partner with them in a real way? Well, the report gives us a super clear 3-step guide. Step 1, get their voices into actual policy, not just advisory councils. Step 2, create clear feedback loops so they know they've been heard. And step 3, give them resources. That means training, and yes, it means paying them for their time and their expertise.
And all of this brings us to the final and most important part of this whole breakdown, the Commission's roadmap. And look, this isn't just about launching a few more programs. This is about a fundamental rewiring of our systems to create a truly coordinated response. Just look at this list. The central argument is that adolescent health can't live in a silo in the health ministry anymore. It's all connected. It's connected to education, to how we plan our cities, to transportation, to economic justice. To make real progress, we need a whole-of-government, a whole-of-society approach, period. Now, to make that kind of coordinated action happen, we need better data. You know the saying, what gets measured gets done. So the Commission is proposing new indicators for 2030. And notice how specific they are, splitting injury into intentional and unintentional, pulling mental health out on its own. Why does this matter? Because it lets us get super targeted and hold ourselves accountable for the results.
So if you take just one thing away from this entire report, let it be this. We have to stop thinking in silos and start building bridges. We have to stop running these little fragmented programs and start building interconnected systems that actually reflect the messy, complex, intersecting worlds that our young people live in every single day.
And that really leaves you with a challenge, a question for every single person watching this. In this world of compounding crises, business as usual is simply not an option anymore. So how will your organization, your department, your practice, how will you transform your approach to truly embrace, protect, and empower the next generation? The time for action is now.